Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 39, DJI Action 3 and GoPro Hero 11 releases. How is everyone doing tonight? Let's see who's in the house. We're going to welcome everybody here. Mr. Bob Dempsey's here. Good to see you, Bob. Sergeant Rock. Who else we got? Michael Wright is here. Leonard Oglesby. Mr. Stephen Ewing is here. Flying Flynn Media. Drone Shots. Let's see who else. Dr. Ted is in the house. Let's see who else. 107 Drones. Welcome. Let's see who all we got here. Lauren is in the house. Hi, kids. I like that, Lauren. That's good. Very appropriate. Eric Kimball is here. Catskills Brad is here. Let's see who else we got. All right. Got a full house. Got a lot to talk about tonight, and I have a very special tribute at the end. First thing I want to let you guys know is I'm putting together, we're going to have a giveaway show. I'm going to do it live. It's going to be coming up probably within the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to have a lot of fun, okay? I got some T-shirts we're going to be giving away. Some posters are going to be given away. I have some accessories for drones are going to be given away. Going to have a lot of fun with this, okay? And what else I'm going to do is the remaining ones, I'm going to have them for sale, and they're going to be very modestly priced, like maybe $15 or $20, but you're going to get a ton of stuff in there, okay? It's like a grab bag, you know. It's like you pay $20 and look what you get. It'll be very reasonably, you know, it's very reasonable as far as, you know, I'll take care of shipping, but it's probably going to be about $20, but you guys are going to like this stuff, okay? It's a lot of goodies, a lot of drone accessories that'll be useful. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It'll be a lot of fun. And you've probably seen the new logo, and you see my shirt here. Okay, they made a mistake with this one. They forgot they didn't put you know, great day to fly underneath it. The other one has that. I got a redo of this shirt, but that's in the laundry right now. So I'll let you know, I'm going to be getting together. I think I found finally someone to be able to sell T-shirts. I'm going to use them for both this channel and for my Ham Radio channel when that gets started. And that's going to get started real soon, by the way, just to let you know that. Also, want to let everybody know, I'm going to brag on my son-in-law, okay? And I call him my son because he's really my son. Andy's his name. He has his Fimi X8 SE 2022 V2 and my controller. He purchased the TX10 off of me, and he took his first flight. Now, you know, I can't show you his video, and he was very astute at pointing this out. He's currently studying for his 107. Until he gets his 107, I can't really show you his video because of the rules. And he's studying for his 107. Say a prayer for him because he's looking for this to be a career move for him. He's very excited. And the area he lives in Central Ohio. It's near Columbus, Ohio. And they're very much on the spot for professional drone pilots. All three of the television stations there are hiring. The other radio stations are hiring. Utilities are hiring around there. There's a shortage of drone pilots up north, not like there is down here in Florida. So professional drone pilots, Part 107. So he's real excited about it. So, and he should be taking his test, I think, around the first week of October. So keep him in prayers. His name's Andy. Can't tell you how much I love him. Like I said, he's not a son-in-law. He's a son to me. He's incredible, and just a wonderful guy, a great father, a great husband, and soon to be another great father coming up in December. So, and we're looking forward to that. We've already got our lodging taken care of. We're going to get plane reservations taken care of too. Okay, I'm not talking about drones. I'm not talking about other stuff here. Okay. Artie's in the house. Welcome, Art. Okay. I got to start out with this. Oh. Okay. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. Our good friend, Bill, people aren't seeing. You got to share your screen. Okay. Let's share my screen here. Okay. Original Dobo came up with his 3D printing magic again for the Avata. Look at the upgrade for the propeller guards here. He's done it again. And you can see on here. And from what I hear, he's working on a another modification to help keep the battery in place, because we know, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So just wanted to kind of brag on him. I'll tell you what, Original Dobo just does a absolute positive, fantastic job with his stuff. I can't say it enough. I really can't say it enough. He runs a great YouTube channel. All right, does great content, and he's full time with his real estate, videography, photography, and then he finds time to go to conferences, and he finds time. Seriously, he makes my head dizzy. He's here, he's there. It's just like, wow, just like absolutely, positively incredible. So, but anyway, all right. It's Action Cam Week, all right? And the first one I want to talk about here, all right? Well, no, you know what? Let's talk about, there's something else I want to talk about first besides the Action Cam, okay? Imagine a drone that never runs out of power. You heard me correctly. It's a DJI M30, and it never runs out of power. Bill, how can that happen, okay? What kind of magic is being worked here? Okay, let's see. Let me bring it up. And I thought I had the article up. Let me go ahead and get that up here, because I don't have that up, but I do want to talk about this, because this is a good article. Called "This Kit Gives DJI M30 Drone Unlimited Flight Time." All right. Okay. A product of Singapore-based tech company Valerius, V-Line Pro enables the M30 to be tethered and fly indefinitely using a ground power station. Users can fly their DJI drone at an ascent speed of 5 meters a second without worrying about cutting the reel or experiencing high tension. The system's lightweight aviation-grade cable allows users to fly at a height of up to 100 meters. Some possible uses for such a system could include monitoring and inspection for data analytics, as well as security and surveillance for military personnel and asset protection. Meanwhile, Valerius is quick to point out that several add-ons have been incorporated into the tether kit to make it more useful than conventional solutions. These include a 12,000 lumens searchlight and a 20,000 lumens floodlight, which means the V-Line Pro can also be used to provide critical illumination with the M30 in the dark. You can see these accessories in action in the video below, okay? And I'm not going to show the video. Public safety departments have been asking us about adding lights to tether systems in the DJI M30 series with Payload SDK. Provides us the opportunity to do so in a way that's fully integrated, okay? DJI Tether Drone Kit comes with a companion app that allows users to monitor several parameters of the solution while operating the aircraft. Features such as auto takeoff and precision landing are also available. Border Patrol agencies, in the meantime, can benefit from a vehicle following mode that enables the M30 to autonomously follow the vehicle even when the camera is scanning the horizon for threats, okay? Interestingly, Scotty O has recently rolled out a similar feature for its enterprise drones. I thought that was very interesting, okay? It's a different kind of solution, and it has its limits, but they're heading in the right direction. They're thinking positively, and I like seeing stuff like that. I think that's a very good thing. We're probably going to see more things like that because, the first thing when I saw this article, I'm like, they got some kind of fancy solar-powered stuff on top or something like that. No, it's not. That's what I thought at first, but no, it's nothing like that. So, but stay tuned. There's probably going to be a lot more on that. So it's a nuclear battery. There you go, Ted. I like that. That's good. Hey, Charles, welcome. Glad you're here. Okay, Lauren's probably going to finish his thought. Unfortunately, it's a tether system. Yeah. And there's something to be said for everything runs out of power sooner or later. Yeah, that's very true. All right. Now, one of the other things that we've seen recently, and there's been a lot of talk about this, and I don't have a banner for it, but the FAA now has pushed back remote ID. And let's go ahead and bring that up because I want to share this with you. Some of you may not have known this. I'm not sure. I can't remember what I talked about yesterday, let alone last week. Okay. Now, I'm not sure. We may have touched on this last week, but this article just came out the other day. FAA is pushing back remote ID compliance date for drone makers. Okay. FAA is giving drone manufacturers 3 more months to get their devices ready for remote ID. The effective date of remote ID has been pushed back from September 16 to December 16, 2022. It comes with a discretionary caveat. In a document published this week, FAA acknowledges there's been a delay on the agency's part in formalizing accepted means of compliance, referring to under-the-hood methods by which a company could comply with the performance-based requirements for remote ID. Okay. According to a statement of the FAA, the agency accepted the means of compliance slightly more than a month before September 16th. While the FAA has already received some declarations of compliance from manufacturers, the agency realizes other manufacturers may not have sufficient time to adequately design, develop, and test their drones for remote ID broadcast. Which drones are ready for remote ID right now? One of the most common ways by which drone manufacturers plan to become remote ID ready is through a software update. This is an approach that both DJI and Skydio have announced they would follow. Additionally, open source drone flight control company Arturian has also said that all drones powered by its software can become remote ID compliant with a single software update. Meanwhile, for those seeking an immediate availability of remote ID capabilities, the Pentagon-approved Blue UAS platform, there's the Ascent Aerosystems Spirit drone. Okay, so that's where things are at with that. So have a I'm going to say any kind of delay on this is probably a good thing, and it's allowing companies. It's probably also allowing DJI to get caught up, to get things tested. Probably, you're going to other companies as well, like Autel, and our friends at Hubsan and Fimi, and now from what I remember with reading with the Fimi, I think it is remote ID capable, but it's compliant right now. But there wasn't a lot on that in the owner's manual. I didn't see any. And Gorilla Man or Richard, if you guys know any more on this, email me and let me know so I can get that out about the Fimi, because I'm not 100% sure on that. Just want to kind of keep tabs on that and see where that's going. But this is good news because this is allowing manufacturers time to get ready for it. It's also, any delay is good, and it's good for us as well too. To see how this is all going to work out, how it's all going to pan out. I mean, they've drawn this out on whiteboards. They've discussed it. It's been flow charted. I'm sure. How is this all going to appear? I'm anxious to see this in real time. Looking at it when I'm flying my drone, see how it goes, and see how see if I can find anybody else that's flying, that kind of thing. It's gonna be helpful. I think use it as I'm gonna use it as a tool that's gonna be helpful to us. Okay, and I think it will be very helpful to us. So stay tuned. There's gonna be a lot more on this, especially as we get near December. So hold on to your hats with that one. That's gonna be real interesting. Okay, just I foresee, and like I said, I think there's gonna be a lot of good out of this, and I think there'll be a lot of people that you'll see a lot of good from in this. Okay, all right. Anyway, all right. Now, this is the week that you're going to see, I was debating on calling this Action Cam Week, calling this episode Action Cam Week, because, it's like everything that's hitting the news right now is Action Cam. Okay. Very little on the Mavic 3. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Mavic 3 Classic and the Mavic 3 Enterprise, very little on that, but a lot on the Action Cam. Now, the first one we're going to take a look at is GoPro, as we announced last week on the show, and I do remember this, okay? We talked about the GoPro Mini, okay? Now there's an article with some leaked images, so we're going to take a look at that. And again, everything that you see here is out on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group and Facebook page. Just want to make sure that you guys know that and can look at these articles at your leisure, okay? GoPro is bringing back the mini camera format leaked images show. There it is, okay? In all its glory. There's no, and on the back, there's no, there's no viewfinder. You don't see a thing. It's just the basic camera, all right? Leaked images indicate alongside the rumored Hero 11 Black, GoPro may also launch a small and compact mini camera without any display screens. At first glance, the Mini looks like a reincarnation of the discontinued Hero Session camera line, but it's more likely the device is a scaled-down version of the upcoming Hero 11 Black, with leaker Roland Quant of Wind Future suggesting that both cameras would feature a new large image sensor. In the meantime, leaked images show a Bluetooth button on the front of the GoPro Mini, giving a clear indication of how the camera would connect to other devices. Also visible in the leaked photos are the mounting options present on both the bottom and back of the device, implying the GoPro Hero 11 Black Mini may be more versatile in its applications. One clear use case for an action cam, as compact as the rumored Mini is, the aerial cinematography. The FPV drone community loves GoPro cameras. Many operators manually strip down the device, so when they finally strap it to their small Cinewhoop-style FPV drones, it's as lightweight as possible. Earlier this year, GoPro released its own version of an FPV drone-friendly camera, the Hero 10 Black Bones. At 54 grams, the Bones is the lightest GoPro ever. It can be mounted on a drone with a single screw boss to capture the cinematic 5K 4:3 video at 30 frames per second, 4K 4:3 video at 60 frames per second, and 2.7K 4.3 video at Super 120. Okay, the weight of the new GoPro Mini camera is not known yet, but if the battery flap and the leaked photos is any indicator, the device will likely feature a smaller battery than what's found in your standard GoPro cameras, and hence save on some weight there as well. Okay, the GoPro Hero 11 Black, and you can see this is what there's the front of the device, there's the mounting option, there's another view of the device, there's a full-on front of the device, there's the sides, quite a few images of this. And it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of a price point we're going to get. Hey, Marcus,
you want one of those, Bill?
It's very intriguing because, for me, I'm with the RC stuff, I think this would be an excellent choice to get.
Yeah, I've already got something that I think fills that bill pretty good.
What you got?
This little guy right here from DJI.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, to mount it, you just got one of these little clips.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Quarter 20. You got the finger mounts if you want. Mm-hmm. This particular one from you, Lansy, it's even got a power port on the back. So, if you were running it for a long period of time, you wanted to keep charging the battery, you could do that. Pretty trick stuff. But anyway, good for GoPro because, people have been missing that session for a long time. So good for them. It's about time they did it. But I'm just saying, DJI beat them to the punch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's, and I'm going to say this because, we're going to talk about it here in just a second. All right. I think, hearing not only from you and your experience with the 10, a lot of people have had overheating issues with them. This is a known quantity. It's not, it's not stuck away in some closet and not out in the open. People know about this. This is a known problem with the Hero 10. Okay, this overheating issue. All right. I think, and this is just me, and I was talking this over with Valerie today. I'm going, them changing the release date to tomorrow to kind of ride DJI's coattails, okay? This is telling me I think GoPro's in not as good a position as they want to be in.
Well, Bill, so yeah, it's more than overheating. I can tell you this. Talking to Sean Oz, World of Oz, he had very similar problems to what I did and what others have had. He seems to think it's related to the battery. He said once you put that endurance battery in there, because mine I don't think was overheating. I think it was just shutting down for whatever reason. Folks that have been using, I think they call it the Enduro battery. Anyway, the little bit more powerful battery. It evidently solved that problem for a lot of people. Now, GoPro themselves, man, I want them to be successful, Bill. We need competition out there.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about it the other day. I wish they'd have stayed in the drone business because, think how far along they would be by now had they done that. But I think you make a great point. Is it probably comes down to investable capital, and that must be a weak point. But I mean, an American company, man, I want them to. If I had,
Oh yeah, it's like that's why you brought up a great point because it's like that's why people pull. That's why I pull for Autel. Okay, I really want them to see because they're an American company, and there are several. Along lines of that, there are several ham radio companies that make everything in the United States. Okay, and they're based in the United States, employ Americans there, which is all good stuff. And these are the kind of places I like to patronize for things like antennas or coax or any accessories kind of a thing, and this is the same thing here. You want to support United States businesses. It's good all the way around. Okay. And this is one of them.
Well, just plain competition is good, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The deal is, at least for me, when it comes to drones and when it comes to these action cameras, DJI has just been, and their microphone system, they outdid Rode with their microphone system. They've just been over the top better than their competition. Now, I'm going to concede one thing to GoPro. I think GoPro's video quality is marginally better than this Action 2. It's marginally better, but it is better. There's no question about it. But we'll see. Tomorrow we'll see an Action 3. So
we're going to see the Action 3. Here's the Hero 11. This is from. I mean, the whole kit is right here.
Yeah, that was. I love that Gumby mount they call it. That is really cool.
Yeah, that is. I mean, there's a lot in here. Okay.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot in here. Now, one thing that we don't really know, and I haven't seen a whole lot on, is price. For the GoPro 11. Okay. I haven't really seen any kind of pricing on that. Have you?
No. I bet you there, because we've all heard the rumors about the base version of the Action 3 supposedly is $329.
Mm-hmm.
If it really is, Bill, I imagine GoPro is going to they're probably going back to the drawing board on their pricing. Because as you might recall, the Hero 10, I think the full list price of it was like $500, I believe.
Yeah.
But then if you bought their little subscription plan to their GoPro Club,
you
could get it down to $399 or sometimes $350 on a sale. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's why, I kind of want to roll over here. DJI teaser video seems to confirm launch of Action 3 on September 14th. Looking for those who go beyond. It's not really leaving a whole lot to the imagination. Deals Drone claimed the Action 3 camera would abandon the diminutive cube-like modular design used by the Action 2 and return to the traditional action camera design. Okay. And there we have some images of it.
I got some thoughts on that, Bill.
What's that?
I'm willing to bet that they are not going to abandon the Action 2. I bet you they'll sell them side by side because there's so many things about this format that are handy, namely like we were just talking about, just being able to pull that little guy off and mount it where you want to. So I'm willing to bet. I wonder if they'll even call it the Action 3. What if they, call it some different? I mean, I don't know, but I can't believe that they would abandon this.
I don't think that. You make a really good point, Marcus, because I'll tell you what, for like the RC community, and and I'm good friends with Steve, Captain Drone, and he does a lot of RC reviews. All right, and one of the things he said he's used are run cams. Okay, right. You've probably seen the little orange ones, and they're kind of flat. Okay, they're pretty bare bones. They now have 4K versions of it, and they run about $100. The big fault in them early on was the runtime was horrible with them. You really didn't have more than 15 or 20 minutes. Now you can probably get up to an hour with the batteries that are in there because the batteries are better. But
it's amazing how many ways you can slice that pie. And it's amazing how many uses you can find. Like, I've thought about this. Do I really need this little Go 2 now? You know what? I do, because it's too handy. You pull you pull the little guy out of here, and it's so small, and you can clip it to your hat or whatever. And then this is a remote control to start and stop it. I thought, well, God, I've got that Action 2 now. Do I really need this? Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm really seeing, okay. And what's real interesting was I took a poll out on both my Facebook group and out on YouTube, on the community page. And overwhelmingly, people said, a majority of them said, they're either not going to buy it, or they're going to take a look and wait and see after the review videos are out before they make a decision on it. And it kind of paralleled a lot like with the Avata, okay? Because most of the people either said they're not getting it or they want to see the review videos.
Bill, I would have said exactly the same thing that you're just talking about with regard to the Action 3, because as you know, I still have the Hero 9, and I like having that format of a camera, and so that's why I kept the Hero 9. But as soon as they mentioned that $329 price point, that could tip me over pretty easy.
That's a very attractive offer for that, okay?
Yeah.
And you get a lot for what the package shows from what I've seen for $329. Now they said for the the trumped up one with everything, I think they said $429. I think it was like $100 more. But for the bare bones, yeah, and that's what I originally got. And then what I did was I got smart because who makes those PGY Tech, okay? They made that's the camera case, and it's almost kind of like a selfie stick stand that I got with my original Osmo Action. And then I got a Rode mic that fits in with that adapter, and it's been excellent part of my workflow. It does fantastic with that, okay? And I see the same thing here, okay? I see an improved version of the Action with that, okay? But for $329, that is awful tempting. I mean, it really is. And again, and I'm going to ask the question, okay? Because, we had it when the Avata came out. We had it when the Mini 3 came out. What's availability going to be like? Is it going to be, you're going to order it and then have to sit there and watch the calendar, or, be able to pick it up at Best Buy? Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If I'm a betting man, I'm willing to bet you can order it and probably get it right away, for a couple of reasons. We saw, like the Avata, it seemed like the supply chain has loosened up quite a bit. Now, granted, this is China, right? And China's had lockdowns and stuff, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I know Ron is a big fan of the Pocket 2, and he is hoping to see a Pocket 3 at some point.
I saw Scott do it in chat also, was asking for the Pocket 3 also. It's a bit different camera in this category. In fact, the Pocket has almost no competitors. I think Fimi had a competitor at one point, but I'm not sure they still.
There's a bunch of them, a bunch of no-name brands that you never heard of, huh, Ron? I've seen a ton of them.
Yeah, the Pocket kind of, doesn't really have another big name rival like, GoPro and whatever. So it's kind of an interesting product. And it was on the schedule to be released, in the fourth quarter of this year. So it's probably another month or so, they'll probably space them out. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting fall. And these cameras, coming tomorrow, of course, you guys talked about them a little bit. I mean, you can't trust the leaks or whatever entirely. But from the leaks I've seen, both of them seem like both cameras seem like very incremental upgrades to what we already have. Unless we're wowed by some unknown feature tomorrow morning, these are, if your Action camera is a couple generations old, probably a real good buy. If you have the what's Action 2 or the Hero 10, they're probably, only if you have to have it, because you want to have it, again, unless I see something tomorrow I haven't heard about.
Ron, I was just telling Bill right before you came on, listen, I've got the Hero 9. It's a great camera. I don't need to replace it. It does everything that I want it to do right now. But as soon as they mentioned that $329 price point, that kind of caught my ear. And I go, well, okay, if I can get an incremental upgrade, and then I can sell the Hero 9 for a couple $100, and maybe it costs me $100, $150 to upgrade, that's a little different, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Marcus. I'll give you a counter good point that if you don't really need the camera and $329 is a lot of money for a product you don't need.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I don't need it.
Now, Bill, do you think DJI is going to trying to kind of what do you call get market share by kind of underpricing their product to try to gain a little market share, or do you think that we're just guessing a GoPro price $500 or something like that? Do you think you'll actually see that extra value in spending that greater amount for GoPro, or again, is this just DJI kind of undercutting them?
First of all, I think DJI is undercutting them, and I think they're doing that on purpose because they know GoPros historically have come in pretty high in terms of their pricing. And I think the other thing, and Marcus and I were talking about it before you joined us, the very well known issues with the Hero 10, and the whole thing. And I was talking about this with Valerie tonight, Ron. The GoPro is riding on DJI's coattails to get some extra publicity tomorrow with this. Does this mean that is this signaling some kind of issue or trouble with them? I hope not, because they're an American company, but it raises a lot of questions why they're doing this, okay, and why they're jumping on the bandwagon here on the 14th. Yeah. I mean, they're soft releases, okay? So everybody knows what I mean by soft release. It's not like anybody's going to step on anybody's toes here, kind of a thing, as far as presentations concerned.
Yeah, but Bill, along with that speculation, a lot of people speculate that GoPro DJI returned to the form factor, the original Action one, because they didn't get the sales. They didn't meet their sales expectations with the Action 2, so they returned to the Action 1. But that kind of indicates DJI really is,
I agree with
ground either, or strongest ground they wanted to be on. We'll say
I agree with that statement completely, Ron. You're totally spot on. And the other thing, remember, that Sean Oz brought up is the Action 2 isn't really an action camera. It is if you pull just that little top part on it, but the bottom part is not waterproof. It's not. So you have to really be careful with it.
Frank Wang's trying to dial in here.
Frank's trying to throw his 3 cents worth in.
But, and do you guys think that the Hero 11 Mini, which is a true action camera, and did you see the latest leak today? It does have a small LCD screen.
They'll show that.
Do you think that will kind of put a sting into the Action 2 sales for the extreme sports people?
It will, and it will, because GoPro has such a huge customer base already that there are people out there that probably don't even know that the Action 2 exists. Wouldn't you agree that they're just GoPro people? They've always been GoPro people.
They just buy
They're going to love it. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, and the article talked about it and mentioned it, this is going to be a favorite because everybody knows that FPV pilots, like our good friend John Coopy, the ones that put together their own FPVs, they crave cameras like this Mini, because it's small, it doesn't weigh a lot, and it's great for a platform like
it's kind of a bulletproof design.
Mm-hmm. It's meant to withstand a lot of abuse, and it doesn't have those screens on there as well, which really kind of it also it helps with the weight, and also no issues with them breaking. So
and maybe on heating issues that screen probably causes some heating too, so that may help.
Oh yeah.
Also, so, and Bill, one of the rumors that just came out in the past day or two that they think this 11 Mini will have the same resolution specs as the bigger 11. So whatever the 11 has, if it has 5K, 60, and 4K, 120, this will have it too.
That's incredible. If that's the deal with this, okay, this may be a game changer for GoPro. I think this is where they're gonna do well with this mini camera. Okay, not so much the Hero 11, but I think they're gonna do well with this. Okay, if the specs hold up, and if they price this right. Okay, again, Marcus brought up a great point regarding the Action 3 and its rumored price. Okay, And if that holds true for that, okay, that's great for DJI. And they're probably going to steal. They're probably going to steal a few of the Hero 11 sales.
And let me slow you down on the pricing here for a second. The
Sure.
$329 is a great price, and it's a great price if that's the price is the price and no games. But really, if you're a GoPro person, you know that they could say the GoPro costs $529 or whatever they say it is. But if they offer that deal where you get the 1 year subscription to their plan, you get the camera for $349. So it really, it's really not that much more than the $329 Action 3 at that point.
You're probably
if you understand the game they play.
Right. If you understand, how they go through it.
Now, the Marcus and I want that Gumby thing over there.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I looked at that and I'm like, yeah, that really is. I kind of like that.
Dr. Bowman, Ted Bowman needs that for his side by side. He could just wrap that around the roll bar and mount that camera right.
Yeah, that's gonna provide a lot of great, interesting camera views and and possibilities. What you can do with that right there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get Ron's take on this. Marcus and I talked about a little bit about this. With the last couple of launches that DJI has had, and it's like, are you going to be able to get it to the store that day? Probably not. I'm thinking it's going to be the same here, Ron. What do you think?
I heard Marcus's comment on it, and I tend to agree because, as far as I know, there's never been a delayed in anybody's action camera, or even any type of camera line doesn't seem to have those delays. But here's the one thing I can say, Bill. Do you think DJI will pull the same thing they did with their recent drones? They will hold back the Action 3 from the third-party resellers, such as Best Buy, Amazon, Adorama, and only sell it from their store for a period of time. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think that's a very distinct possibility, Ron. You brought up an excellent point. I think they're going to do that, and it's kind of a mystery why, because the more you get out there, the more exposure you have, the better as far as sales are concerned. But why DJI is doing it, there must be a method to their madness.
It could come to Lauren's theory. I don't know if Lauren's in here, that they're punishing, DJI's punishing the U.S. retailers for what the government has done to them as far as all these sanctions and so on.
Yeah, they're not going to play that game. I don't think.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but again, it'd be interesting to see if it is available at all retailers, because we know the GoPro Hero will be available at all the likely suspects, Best Buy, Amazon. It'll be all over the place. So I think DJI will hurt themselves if they don't have it at the same vendors. But we'll see how how much they hateful they are, or how much they really want to get in there and compete.
See, I think they're going to be available to third-party resellers, Ron, because because how many times, and let's go back in recent memory, okay, and go back to maybe the pocket cameras from DJI, the action cams from DJI. How many times have you seen a Best Buy somebody buy a DJI Action or a DJI Pocket ahead of time, okay? Yeah. Versus a drone ahead of time. And that, you've seen multiple times people getting the drones ahead of time, but you've never seen them getting something like an action cam or a Pocket or anything like that ahead of time. So my thinking is, I think we're going to see it at the third party. I think you're going to see it at Amazon, and you're going to see it at Best Buy.
I hope you're right.
On Amazon. We'll have to see tomorrow morning on Amazon if it's there.
But it's 8 a.m., okay? And this is an interesting thing because, while, again, this is a soft release and everything, okay, realize, the time difference over in China, okay, because it's at night over there, okay? You're dealing with a totally different thing. And the question is, for me, in my mind, with ordering something like that, okay, how long it takes to process, all right, before it'll actually be shipped. So that remains to be seen. But I don't really see a huge delay in getting these. I hope I'm right, that they have these at their distribution centers all ready to go.
Well, Bill, what do you think? Amazon. I mean, we'll know tomorrow morning if that Action 3 is available on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to say something on behalf of Ron here, and I know Ron, you talk about the Pocket all the time, and we've been extolling the virtues of these action cameras, but there's one area that they all really fall down and just don't work, and that is in any kind of a low light situation, even indoors, even in it's a bright day outside. You take any one of these guys inside, try doing some panning and stuff, you'll see a bunch of jerky. You'll see them start to get grainy. And even, I was using this guy the other day as the sun was starting to go down, and it just increasingly got worse and worse and grainy. And that Pocket 2 that Ron uses, you wouldn't see that.
Right. It would be better low light. And we talked about this a little bit less, like the action cameras. But the reason why that happens is because the hyper smooth on GoPro, and what's DJI called theirs? Rocksteady?
Rocksteady.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, wonder things that they make it seem like you have a 3-axis gimbal when you're just walking around. But the downside of that is, that doesn't work very well in low light or nighttime situations. Now, I mean, in all fairness, if you would turn that off, put the GoPro on like a tripod, mount on a tripod, and maybe bump the ISO way up, and maybe play with the shutter speed, you may get somewhat acceptable. But of course, you could move it. You have to have it mounted.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the stability, right? Which you will have.
Why even use a GoPro if you're doing all that? You might as well just mount a phone or something on a thing.
Here's something interesting, okay? And you guys bring up a good point here. And I did this a couple of times, okay? One thing that I noticed is, okay, and this was with the Action. Okay, I was at Sam's once, and then I went to a restaurant called Portillo's. And inside, if you stay inside there, okay, and the light wasn't very good in there, but the video quality was, I thought, excellent, okay, in both instances, and this was in a very bright environment. I think the difference happens when you come from outside inside. If you're still filming, okay, it really has a hard time adjusting. Yeah. And vice versa. It's like we were walking.
All even big cameras have problems adjusted to light, dark, or whatever if you take them in and out.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt you guys, but I see Scott Nadeau's got an interesting comment there. He said Air Photography put a video of a GoPro with a gimbal on it. So could that be to compete with the Pocket, Ron?
I on a GoPro and a gimbal.
Well, that's
I mean, there's many third-party gimbal makers out there for GoPros, and just like I said, that allows you to turn off your hyper smooth. At that point, that opens up a lot of other opportunities for you as far as putting on ND filters and low light and everything like that. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if Scott is referring to maybe a Pocket 2 style of camera where, with the head of it.
Well, GoPro has been scheduled to launch several products, and these maybe 2 are coming out tomorrow. We still expect to update to the 360 camera, and also they talk about a more professional camera. Maybe that would be something with a 1-inch sensor. That everybody always screams they want a 1-inch sensor, but do we really want a 1-inch sensor on our action cameras? They're going to make them heat up more than they do already.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Scott is saying no, it looks like a Pocket 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, that is the camera that they haven't announced yet or whatever, and it would be maybe a 1, because they talk about more professional cameras. So just think, if you could have a 1-inch sensor or a built-in gimbal like a Pocket 2, that could replace the people that buy these expensive gimbals for their big cameras.
And it's all great news, isn't it? Isn't it, guys? Yeah. It's all great news because
right. Yeah.
GoPro comes out with another competitor for DJI's camera, we all
Well,
win.
remember, it's going to be hard for DJI to ever match GoPro camera for camera because they that's all GoPro does. You know what I mean? So DJI has to pick their fights or whatever. Like maybe try to beat them in the action camera, and they got the pocket too. But of course, GoPro is always going to have the means to and time to put more different styles of cameras out, just like, again, if GoPro, they've had made a drone page, but if they came out with a drone again, they could never match DJI's line of drones. They could just compete with them in one category.
Breaking news. Mikey, Philly Drone Life, says he's done with DJI.
Yeah.
So Mikey's going to be doing just like Ken Heron and just going to be flying Fimis from now on.
Well, Mike, you did have the bad experience with that Avata drone.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever recovered it, Bill.
Wow. I did not know that. Ron?
Yeah, he had the same thing. Billy happened to him. He lost signal. He crashed. The battery popped out. So you really couldn't use Find My Drone. Well, I mean, you could use the see the last location, but he really couldn't use it because the battery wasn't in it to get the beeping and stuff going. And Billy, luckily, it happened to him twice in Vegas, but he recovered it both times. He had a team helping him the second time. I think he had 8 guys out there.
Wow.
So had lawn flying search and rescue missions with the Mavic 3 with the zoom.
Mavic 3, yeah. So what's your take on this new Insta360 X3, Ron?
Well, we haven't seen what's coming tomorrow, but maybe that's the one to buy. With that 2.29 inch screen on touchscreen. The one thing I've always disliked about Insta360, and Marcus could tell you on his little one, he has the little screens they put them are so small. They're, as we said to Bob Dempsey, they're not for the old farts or whatever. These tiny little touch screens, you can barely even see it rather than touch the buttons, and that's across the whole Insta360's whole line of cameras. Even that module thing that they have all the cameras. Again, the touchscreen is minuscule in those things. Where finally they released the thing where you don't need your phone. And you
want to see a small screen, Ron?
Yeah. See, I mean, what do you call it, Marcus? You fat figured the things in there. And,
yeah. Well, actually, fortunately, this one you manipulated all with these buttons, so you really
yeah. But still, wait until you see the new screen they have. So I mean, that makes the camera much more versatile, especially if it's the old farts, because I mean, you can see that clearly. It's easy to maneuver around. And Bill, the X3 did come out with an action camera mode that shoots at 4K 30. So that means you can shoot just like it's a GoPro, and that file can come right off. And that file is not a Insta360 file where you have to take it in and edit it in their software. You can just drop that file in your workflow, with your drone files, and it'll go right in without any post processing. And they also have Me Mode, Bill, and Me Mode, you could just point the camera and it'll lock on you like it's active track, and you can just walk around. This isn't in post, this is as you're filming, and it'll follow you all through the scene or whatever. And I believe that file also pops out as a regular file that you can upload to your other footage. So somebody like Marcus could roam around doing his tracking and stuff like that, and Me Mode would follow him, all around, and he wouldn't have to, do the tracking in post.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does. It really does. And before we move on, and I just want to take a small commercial interruption, we want to congratulate our buddy Matt Cundiff on passing for his Part 107. Okay, Matt, hats off to you. Congratulations, it's huge. My son-in-law Andy, he's studying for his right now, and he's going to be taking it at the end of the month, beginning of October, and he's really pouring himself into it because there are plenty of job opportunities up where he is, up in Central Ohio. And so he's kind of gearing it towards starting a career. And I shared with everybody, and I didn't share this with you guys, my son-in-law took his first flight with his Fimi, okay? And he shared the video with me. I can't share it because he's like, well, he's studying for his Part 107. He says, you're monetized, and he says, I'm not monetized, and I'm not Part 107, so you really can't show. I'm like, God, you're right. So
he already knows the rules.
He knows it, okay? And I watched his first flight, and I'll tell you what, he did a heck of a good job. He really did. Some Horizon.
Bill, you should just play it and say Stu was flying when during the footage.
Yeah. Well, what was really good was he got the hang of it right away. So a lot of people, they don't. He got the hang of it right away, and his 13-year-old nephew was there with him, and he recorded the audio from the TX10, which you can do on the screen recorder, and the audio came out fantastic on it. And it's great because I got to see their property like I've never seen it before up there. His dad owns quite a few acres, like where their house is, and it's a big property up there, and it was very good, and he did a great job. I was very impressed. So I will be getting his video on the channel as soon as he passes. And I got a nice gift for him. If you're here, he watches the show. So Andy, if you're hearing me, I got a gift lined up for you. I'm going to get that you'll really like. So, but he's really pleased with it, and he figured he couldn't go wrong. And one of the things that he really liked about the Fimi X8 SE 2022 V2, it has a mode called SAR, Search and Rescue. Okay. And I think Marcus knows what I'm talking about. Ron knows what I'm talking about. It gives you the coordinates there. And one of the things, and the reason he did this, and he was telling me something interesting, okay? His father's a genealogy buff. Like, he's traced their family history back hundreds of years, okay? And a lot of times they go to look for descendants' graves, all right? And, they go to old plat books and the county recorder, and there's not a lot of information there. So what they do is they try to get latitude and longitude, and he's going to use that SAR function on the Fimi to help him with that, with trying to find some of these graves of their ancestors, which I think is just absolutely cool.
Yeah. The other thing in that SAR mode with the Fimi is you can digital zoom. It's only available while you're in SAR mode.
I did not know that.
Good to know.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, you'll see a
real
flyer on the right side of the screen there. Well,
here's this. Here's the big thing, okay? And I love this, all right? My granddaughter's now into I don't know if it was pound puppies or something, okay? Paw Patrol. She's into Paw Patrol right now. That's her big thing, okay? And you know what she asked her daddy what she wanted for Christmas? She calls it an airplane because she's seen him fly. She said she wants she calls Paw Patrol Papa. She wants a Papa airplane. She wants a Paw Patrol drone for Christmas. And I told him, I said, you know what? If Grandpa finds one, Grandpa's going to get one for her.
There is such a thing?
I would probably make a bet, Ron, if it could be possible, because I'll tell you what, they put that, that company gets their trademark on it, or their logo, or their insignia. They make a boatload of money off of stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm really doing that. Oh, and just another side note, which was real interesting. All right. A lot of people, when we go on vacation, they look for, God, what's the rental company? I'm trying to think. What's that?
Hertz?
No, for houses. Airbnb. Okay. There's another one called Verbo. Okay.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Okay. Now, guess what? We got the sweetest deal possible. All right. We found an apartment. All right. $89 a day. We're going to be there for 10 days. Okay.
Wow.
You ought to see the apartment. It's like a brand new place. And you know what? I found, they don't tell you the exact location, but I saw the pictures because I'm familiar with Columbus. I narrowed it down and I took a look on Google Maps and I found that apartment complex. And it was just like, bingo. I mean, apartment prices really surprised me, because for this one bedroom apartment, like if you were to rent it, it's like $1,500 a month. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, that was pretty pricey. So yeah, so we're getting things firmed up in that trip, and I'm hopefully going to take a drone up with me, probably the Mini 3.
And when do you plan on going up there?
We're going up in December, because that's when my daughter's due on December 10th. Okay. So we're planning on flying up like on the 9th, and we're going to stay through like the 17th. So we're going to be there for a week. So that's going to
you could hit a little cold weather in December, huh?
Yeah, we're going to take, Valerie's going to take her winter coat. I'm going to take mine. So it's like, yeah. And we're going to
still probably have some of that thick PA blood in you, right? You could probably take a little bit more.
I probably can. So I think we're kind of good.
Hey, once from PA, Bill, always from PA, right?
Oh yeah, that doesn't get out of my system. So
Marcus, did you know Bill played ball in Beaver Falls in the same field that Joe Namath did?
You played in Beaver Falls?
No, my college did. My college.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, my college field was Joe Namath's high school field. That's where he played his high school football. And his name, they have a name and a plaque on the side of the field house by the football field with his name and number on it, the number he wore in high school, hanging up on there, which is
really cool.
I mean, I know Joe's famous for his Calvin and the Jets, but he before that he was a high school Western PA legend or whatever. He's one of the biggest things that ever come out of Western PA back in his day.
Oh, back in his day, yeah. And then, well, and other people too, and I try to tell people to kind of level set them. And I'm like, Joe started it, okay? And then Joe Montana, he was from Monongahela, Pennsylvania, which is still in Western Pennsylvania. Kelly from the Bills, he was from that area as well. Marino, he went to Pitt. I mean, all these
and Johnny Unitas before Joe, even Johnny Unitas.
Yeah. So they were all.
And not just quarterback. Dick Buckus, isn't Tony Dorsett from Western PA someplace?
Tony Dorsett, Mike Ditka, he went to Pitt as well too. So it's a good football hotbed. So, guys, any closing thoughts for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to cool off. So yeah, it's time to get out and fly. The weather's getting better. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of smoke around here, but that hasn't stopped me from flying. I've been flying that Skydio 2 along with the Mavic 3 here lately and having a lot of fun. So, yeah, get out there and fly, folks.
Good. Well, I'll just be getting up early tomorrow morning, waiting for all these action camera releases, studying the specs. And also, I suspect, Bill, that all the big channels have the drone and they've already have a whole bunch of videos filmed in it. So I'll be looking forward to the videos tomorrow morning from the big channels.
There's going to be a lot because there's going to be the GoPro and also the Action.
I wonder if somebody would have them both ahead of time and could do a comparison.
Yeah, that would be
really Rainmaker or even our friend Air Photography, possible, right?
But our good friend out in California help me out.
Potato Jet, maybe.
Potato Jet and Aldrin Estasio,
yeah.
A Fly Path. I'm sure he's has them, and so. Oh, and one note: iOS 16 came out yesterday, so you can download that. It's only on the phone right now. The iPad version won't be coming until October, and Marcus will have the iPhone 14 arriving this Friday. And he will be testing. Supposedly, they've added some new thermal cooling, Bill, and we're hoping that it won't dim as fast as the previous models. And it promises 2,000 nits of outdoor brightness. So if Marcus could sustain 2,000 nits for, say, 10 minutes or more outdoors, that would be a godsend.
We're going to be doing some testing.
Oh, that sounds promising. But you know what I say? And one thing I've always told my friends who are like, well, why don't you go back and get an Apple? Okay, this is why. Okay, look at the real estate on this.
And you don't dim, right?
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. They're not dimming.
Yeah, this is it. I wanted to
before you sign out, Bill. Can you give us an update on the Steelers score from last weekend?
Oh, what a game that was! You know what? That was a whole season in one game. All right. That was a whole season in one entire game. I've never seen a game like that before, Ron. I've been watching football since 1968, and I've never seen a game like that, ever. I started watching like end of the third quarter, beginning of fourth, and it was just wow. Okay.
Is it true, though, there's some bad news that T.J. Watt may be out for the year?
No, he's not going to be out for the year. They said 6 weeks. He didn't tear his pec, but, that was the real good news. Najee Harris is going to be back, which is good. They're running back because he left with an injury as well too. But defensively, I thought they played an incredible game. Offensively, they did just enough to win.
And they did sign Boswell to that big contract in the offseason, so it was a good sign, huh?
Yeah, but then he hits that one and it hits the goalpost, and you can hear it on TV hit the goalpost. I was like, Oh, that was
Like
rough.
remember the Eagles a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl? They had the clang or whatever, where some big game was won by somebody clanging the goalpost. But hey,
Mhm.
we gotta go Bucks from Murray Kelly.
Well, I'm going to close on something a little different tonight. Um, some of you may have seen, and I posted this on Facebook and in the group and in the page. Um, had a coworker pass away on Sunday, and this is Srinivas. Srinivas was a mentor. He was an excellent worker, but even more than that, he was a good friend to me. And he had started coughing in June, and before you know it, he had cancer. We found it was in his liver, in his lungs. Apparently, it might have started out in his um, pancreas, which a stage one in your pancreas, there's not a lot of symptoms. And by the time it shows symptoms, it's too late. And he had sent a text last week, and we found out later it's actually his brother sent it to us saying that he was going to be out several months and getting treatments for his lung and his liver and to keep him in thoughts and prayers. And then we got a text early Sunday evening from our manager that he had passed away. My manager went out to see him, and he said, Bill, he could barely talk. And he was in a very, very bad way. And, and I'm going to say this, he was from southern India, all right, and from a region that's known as more conservative type of thing. He didn't touch alcohol. He didn't touch tobacco. He really watched what he ate. He was athletic. He played tennis. He was one of the most likable people you'd ever want to run into, and you hear the thing, why bad things happen to good people. And this is one of these head scratchers. It doesn't make any sense. You can't rationalize this out. He's gone. And we had a half-hour video conference with our manager this morning, and I've known my manager for about 9 years, and he was on the verge of tears, and I've never seen him like this before, and he was very shook up. They have a GoFund for him, for his family, because they have to they want to transport him back to India because his wishes were to be cremated back over in India. And so far they've raised about $37,000 out of $100,000. His wife was not employed. He has two sons, both graduated college, and it's just it leaves a void. It leaves a big void, and keep his family in your thoughts and prayers as they transition to this. Keep my department and my manager and all of us, because this is a shock. We did not expect it this soon, and it really has hit us like a ton of bricks. I had one of those days that I was glad it was a light load work day today, and I told Valerie, I said, I just felt like I was going through motions today because it was just this just really weighed on my mind. And one of the other things that I want to tell everybody is this, okay? If your body's telling you something is wrong, go to the doctor, okay? Don't hesitate. Um, you know, I got to thank Dr. Ted here because he noticed me coughing on here. I went to see my gastroenterologist, got an endoscopy, and confirmed that that I do have that ulcer and that I'm under proper treatment for it. And I want to thank Dr. Ted for that. So when your body's telling you something, get to the doctor. Okay, it's we only have one life to live. In spite of what you hear about cats having 9 lives, we only have one, and each day is another blessing, and make sure you take advantage of that. And one of the other things is make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them, because we're not promised tomorrow, we're only promised today, and there's a lot of life to live, and I'm planning on trying to be as healthy as I can for Valerie, for my grandkids, for my kids, for my family, and friends. So this is a closing note, and I'm not gonna leave out with my usual salutation at the end. I'm just going to have a brief moment of silence, and then we're going to close the show. Thank you all very much.